Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at an interesting movie. When I say a movie is interesting, it is very interesting, very captivating. A movie that you sit to the TV or to the screen of your TV and wouldn't take your eyes off it till the very end. This movie we're talking about here is The Story of Us. The Story of Us. This is a movie that was produced by Uchenna Mbonabo and directed by Ben Cassie. The starring the movie are Nadia Buhari, Chyke, Shim, Osadebe Chidera, and a host of other Nollywood actors. Please, guys, before we continue, kindly remember to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, like, and share the video. Okay, the story of us is a story that talks about a young girl who grew up with her grandma. She never got to know her mother. Her mother left her immediately after birth and disappeared. So she grew up in the arms of her grandma. Not quite long, when she was at the age of 14, she lost her grandma to the cold hands of death and she felt so bad. Meanwhile, her grandma left her with some items in a box, and inside the box is the picture of her mother, some money, a letter, and a pair of earrings. She tried reading the letter, but she couldn't due to she had no formal education, so she took it to someone to help her read it through. In the letter, her grandma told her to go look for her mom at Abuja. She left her with some money for the journey, gave her an address. She embarked on her journey to Abuja to go look for her mom with the address her grandma gave her. It wasn't easy for her to locate the place, but finally she was able to locate the address. She showed the gateman the picture of the woman if he could recognize her, that she lives in there. The gateman was like, I don't know who this is. She didn't leave immediately. She was persisting that she sees the people who live in there. She was causing chaos outside of the gate, and when the owner of the house heard the noise, he came out with his beautiful wife. Lo and behold, the poor girl felt and saw her mother. She knew it at first sight. She felt it. This thing they say blood is thicker than water. As in, the connection was there. She was so happy that she had seen her mom, but the woman turned her down and was like, I don't know who this is. The poor girl, Soporuchi, pointed out to her that look at us, look at me, look at you. See the striking resemblance between you and I. The woman said, no, please, dear, I don't know who you are. And Gateman had to shut the gate behind her. She felt so devastated and was like, where will she go from here? The girl slept around, though she didn't go far. So the next morning, when she was about leaving for work, immediately the gate man opened the gate for her to drive out, for her husband to drive out. She rushed into the house and grabbed the woman. You need to see this scene yourself. Like, you need to watch this movie. So the woman felt so embarrassed and was like, "Good man, you failed in your duty. What's this nonsense?" She felt so embarrassed. She didn't go to work that day, I guess. So her husband is this kind, loving, caring, understanding, pathetic. What adjective would I use to qualify him? He was a good man. He was quite understanding. But her husband was not literally convinced. He was like, baby, just check out the resemblance between you and this girl. Did you have a daughter? Do you have a child somewhere? Is there something you're not telling me? And she was like, she shunned him. I was like, what do you mean? What question is that and all of that? She was so angry at her husband. Her husband had wanted to help the girl. He had wanted to bring her into the house, to work as a maid or whatever. But the wife kept telling him capital no, that she wouldn't want that bastard, that thing in her house. So that day, the man drove the poor girl off and tipped her. He dropped her off the streets, and the poor girl begged him to help her, that she had nowhere else to go, but he refused. So much later, they found her selling gala on the main road, and that very day she had an accident. So the man felt so bad leaving her there. He had to help her. He took her to his house and took care of her. His wife Marvel wasn't comfortable having the girl around the house. She hated her so much. She despised her. She maltreated her as well as her daughter. But much later, her daughter Yada started getting used to the girl, and like she had no sister, no other siblings. So they started getting along. Along the line, Yada developed illness. She had this kidney infection, which resulted to kidney failure. Her two kidneys were bad, and she needed a kidney transplant. And it was difficult for them to get a donor because that of the mother didn't match, that of the father didn't match too. Amidst the fact that Soporichi was a minor, Marvel talked her into donating a kidney for her daughter Yada, which was unlawful. She got her a dress and a necklace, to plead her into doing this. But after much thought, Soprochi agreed. She agreed. I was like, okay, I'll do it because I like Smalley because that's what she calls her. But thank God, much later the hospital called and announced that they have found a match for her. So that was how she got better and was back on her feet. So when Yada was back from the hospital, Soporochi went to her to beg for her phone to use to make call. She gave her the phone. Then Soporochi went to call Auntie Amaka. Auntie Amaka was a good friend of her grandma back in the villa. So when she contacted Auntie Amaka was like, how far since you left, you've not called me. How are you doing? Were you able to see your mother? What's up? So she opened up, was like, I've seen my mother, but the experience, the treat she's giving me is not worth it. That she has been maltreating me. She has been, as in, she complained to her of how her mother has been treating her. So she asked Aunt Amaka to actually tell her how her mother got her pregnancy, of which Aunt Amaka narrated the ordeal to her. Immediately, she went in and confronted her mother and was like, am I to blame for the consequences of our father's action? That she's not to blame. That is that why she hates her so much and maltreats her. So her husband heard the noise downstairs and came down. And that very day, her friend visited too. Her friend, who's a physiotherapist, was in the house. And they were like, what's happening here? What's going on? What then the husband asks Soporoshi, what did you tell her? What did you talk to her about? And Soporo was like, the story needs to come from her, needs to come from the mother. And she felt so she was so down and she was not getting herself. So they helped her put herself together and she narrated the audio. So it happened that she was raped at the age of 14. That she was in love with this rich young guy and it was his birthday, and when she attended, they drugged her and she was raped. And they took turns in raping her and thought of not that months later she found out she was pregnant and thought of not knowing who the father of her child is made her hate that baby. Hated the girl more when she came to remind her of her past. So her husband tried to calm her down, calm her nerves down. He was this caring husband, like I said earlier. He begged her to accept the girl as a child, to accept her, to forgive herself, and let her go. So let her go of her past so that she can get better and heal faster. And he also got a therapist for her. So time she was improving, she was putting herself together. Then along the line, the parents of the guy, of her boyfriend, that her ex-boyfriend who fathered the child, came. They came around to have their baby back. This worsened the situation. She chased them out of the house. Much later, she pleaded for her daughter's forgiveness. She begged her to forgive her of how she has been treating her, how she has been maltreating her. Sopuruchi, on the other hand, forgave her mother. She was happy. She was enrolled in Yada school. So the movie ended by showing where her grandparents came around the house and there was this joy, there was this collaboration, these warm hugs they were sharing to show that the two families are now good. So, guys, this is where I'll draw the curtain here. Please do remember to subscribe, leave a comment, like, and share this video. Till the next movie review, please stay cool.